forward. Psychological, spiritual, emotional, ideologically, all of that. We're gonna talk about all that stuff because the idea is to get us to a point where we achieve freedom. And when I say freedom, I'm not talking about freedom from a prison cell, because it's multiple forms of bondage, right? You could be in bondage by being in a prison cell. That restricts your movement. You could be a slave to the opinions of other people. You could be a slave to an ideology. You could be a slave to a clock. How do we free ourselves from all these things that have us doing stuff that we really don't want to do? We just do it to make it in this society. How do you achieve ultimate freedom? Very few people break free from the matrix. So the idea is raising people's awareness by holding these traditional beliefs that I believe and you believe as a result of our study have done more harm than good, right? So we're going to question a lot of this stuff, and hopefully it'll produce the growth. Again, people going to be uncomfortable, right?
And we know it done did harm.
Yeah,
I believe we know it done did harm.
Yes, sir.
We definitely know it done did harm.
It's crazy because people gonna be uncomfortable, but they say a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. So the discomfort is done with the right intent to push us forward, to shake us up. You know, when you put a piece of clothing in a washing machine and you got a stain on it, and you put a little bit of bleach or whatever on that stain, you put it in there. You know, that machine agitates it, right? And through that agitation, it breaks it up, and then it becomes clean or purified. So sometimes, man, this stuff gonna be agitating, and it ain't gonna feel good. But if we got the courage to understand the truth and question it and question it and question it, we're gonna arrive at the conclusions we need to be in a better place,
No
better
doubt.
shape.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's what we want to do. So we're gonna see. That's the plan. And then, you know, like, especially when you deal with the community, like real stuff, and we like community topics. Ask people what they want to talk about, and then the idea is not just to like be a podcast that's just gonna share a bunch of information and be engulfed in the controversy. Man, it's to develop, man, concrete plans and ideas that can be implemented in our community to move it forward. So it's a podcast that's a tool for education, that's a tool for action. That's the idea behind it. So hopefully.
Yeah. No doubt, man.
People gonna tune in because we're gonna be talking about some stuff, and some of our positions may not, you know, people may not agree with them. Some people may, but the idea, remember, it's all done for the right intent. It's designed to raise people's awareness, man, to put us in a better thinking position so that we can overcome some of these things that prevent us from unifying, man, because we got everything we need except unity.
Yeah.
We got everything we need except unity. I'm telling you, man, that slavery experience and the psychological reshaping of us as beings, the spiritual, metaphysical reshaping of us as beings, it placed in us, right, such a deep-seated hatred that created such a powerful division that we know that unity is the key to our success. We still can't unify, though. Right, we know it. How do you know something is the key to your success, yet you still incapable of doing it?
Shit, man, motherfuckers know that we didn't used to believe in Jesus and Christianity and all that shit. They know for a fact that shit, and they still worship the motherfucking that they put in front of us. That our motherfucking open enemy put in front of us. Knowing full good and well we didn't do that shit before we got put over here. And like, it's like motherfuckers love to feel like all we was slaves or something, man.
Dude said it's crazy because the crazy part about it is everything you saying, right, is true, because the images that we have been accustomed to worship are not images that are native to our religions. You know what I'm saying? Our systems of spirituality. We ain't never had a God that didn't look like us. And so the idea is when you can replace a person's deity, when you can replace their identity, when you can replace their spiritual system, right? When you can do that, man, you control them, right? And so all of these things that are originally ours, right, have been stripped away and replaced with other things where other people's heroes and imagery dominate. And so when we look and we don't find ourselves in these spiritual systems that we believe in, psychologically what that does to us is make us feel subtly that our natural position is one of inferiority and acquiescence. So, because when you look at it, man, when you think about political power, you think about old white men in Washington. Economic power, old white men in Washington, or Wall Street. Military power, white men in the Joint Chiefs of Staff. When you think about divine power, you got an image of a European Jesus. So, at every level, where every decision is made that impacts human life on a daily level, man, from the mundane to the divine, you see white images, man. We as a people, man, continue to believe in stuff that is not beneficial to us. And the crazy part about it is when you look in to the biblical text, the picture don't even fit the description. And people will make up, and this is what our people will say, it don't make no difference what color he was.
Hey, that's us, man.
Man, we make up excuses.
Niggas.
We make up excuses.
That's niggas,
So,
man.
but listen though, that is, but let's look at that. Let's even look at that, man. That is people, man, who have been so severely damaged psychologically, man. Bro, now just think about this, man. This is not our natural state.
Man, remember what was that? What was that? Good Times? That JJ where JJ was on it? The nigga died on Mike. Yeah. Remember how they mama used to act? And had a little brother used to be up on the shit?
Yeah, Mike.
Man, they remember that episode where they something happened where JJ had painted a black Jesus and everything was like going real good and all type of shit was happening, and you know what I'm saying? They was, and like the mama was like, get that up out the house. This is bad. You bring that white. She wanted to bring that white Jesus back in there.
Man. And so like, I want you to just think about this even on a deeper level, Supreme. You right, because that's what we listen. And you still got black churches today that's like that. But this the thing for me though, man. Even when we look at that, sometimes we got to push back hard against our people. However, though, man, all of that stuff was systematically designed, brother. They imposed them ideologies on us through fear, fear of a level of brutality that we was unfamiliar with, and we was in, and it was they deeply rooted. And it's crazy because each succeeding generation, each generation that come after the prior generation that was enslaved. For example, if a mom was enslaved and she watched men get beat, right? She have a male child. She gonna teach him to be complacent, man, because she don't want him to get beat. And then his complacency is gonna transfer to his son, and so on and so on. And so through social learning theory and through generational practices, man, we become docile because it's a result of a training that go all the way back to slavery that black women put in us for the purpose of keeping us safe, brother. So, man, listen, man, these people done man, bro, listen.
It's just like, hey, see, I mean, we gonna take this out of, you know what I'm saying? This is just from what we see in the news and what we watched in documentaries and things like this. This is the dope spot. So metaphorically speaking, what my brother just said is when you take a man, which is that key, that pure, that motherfucker, right, in its purest form. And as you take it, and by the time it gets to motherfucking where it go to in the middle of the United States, it done been beat on, stepped on, and all this shit all the time. It ain't nothing like it's supposed to be.
Let me tell you something Louis Farrakhan said.
It ain't nothing like it's supposed to be. That's the black man today.
Louis Farrakhan.
He stepped on him. He stepped all on him. He got everybody that stepped all on him, man. Repackaged him, told him he was this. Sold him to the next motherfucker. Here, nigga.
So it's an issue of identity. Farrakhan said this. He said, man, look at our condition.
We cooking.
He said, they went to your schools. What do you see? He said, you made them. What do you see? They're a product of your influences. What do you see? See, he said, God made man. White people made Negroes. Right? And so that is, a Negro is the product of, a Negro is a person who has been broken and stripped of his or her identity and adopted the identity imposed upon them by somebody else for control purposes. That's what it is for us. It's somebody whose consciousness is dead because an alien consciousness infects them. The term Negro phonetically is related to the term necro. Necro means dead in Greek. And so what happens is our consciousness or our awareness of ourselves is done, it's dormant, it's inactive. And people have placed an entity inside of us that makes us self-destructive, brother, and worship the people, man, who are responsible for our plight in a lot of ways.
Man, and we made them motherfuckers. So like, you know what I'm saying? It was, you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at it like shit, the motherfucker who made us the worst part of us made them.
Man, it's yeah. The whole thing is for me, brother. Like, when we was talking about the other day why people don't embrace the idea or the concept behind the word gods, right? I understand that because, again, when you have been conditioned to believe that is one of the highest forms of disbelief, and because people think you associating something with the deity, the universal deity, people start to, they shut down. It's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or faint. When people hear something that they don't like, brother, if they can't engage in an intelligent debate and overcome you with information, people shut down, right? So you have to even be conscious of, man, listen, it's a way to utilize that, man, by studying the things that people believe. Man, you can pull that stuff right up out of their stuff, because most systems of belief, most spiritual cultivating systems, right, are the same. The underlying principles are the exact same. It's only the characters and the figures that have been replaced. And when you look at it, right, the ancient Egyptian system, right, the tree of life is a schematic diagram for the chief components of your brain. It was teaching you about the divinity in you. You the divinity, right? It wasn't a system of worship of the divine. It was a system of identification with the divine. Right, Anuk Asar, I am divine. But when you say stuff like that, man, people who believe in these orthodox religions tend to see that as a form of blasphemy. That's because in a lot of ways their understandings have been locked inside the beliefs of other people.
And using words like blasphemy and putting that on you made you not even want to even challenge.
Yeah, scare you. You can't question God, you going to hell. Man, a fear tactic.
That's why I call Christianity what do you call it? That's extortion. Man, you scared to death, literally.
But it ain't, it's all the religions that utilize fear in a way that discourages you from utilizing your intelligence, right, to understand and deduce. Nothing about the pursuit of truth requires you to deactivate your intelligence and to just accept something because no matter how much sense no matter how much sense it lack, right? You just accept it because somebody told, well, I'm gonna believe this because my grandmama told me, but it don't make no sense.
It don't make sense.
It don't make sense. And then when you become the one that questions that within the family, you the first one, you the troublemaker, you this, you that, what's wrong with you? The devil done got you.
Oh yeah. You going to hell.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought I was going to hell, Top. I was in that shit deep, man. And when and once I got up away from that shit, man, I said, fuck everything. You feel me? But that's when I fell up under, you know what I'm saying? But that's when I went looking for the nation, because that was the next thing I was like, man, that's gonna be, I don't know nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And for real, I was just looking for something, because I was still empty, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just going through life feeling like I was tired of feeling like all I'm waiting on is hell. Cause I was like, shit, I'm going to hell. Fuck it. But then I got bored, like, damn, I ain't finna kill myself. I'm just not waiting to die. I might as well try to figure something else out, you know what I'm saying? So shit.
Man, when you think about say the ancient Kemetic or African religions, right? Which is the religion, when you break it down, there is only one religion. Everything else is a deviation from that. The term religion comes from the Latin term re. Re is a prefix to return, replay, rewind, repeat. It means to go back and do again. The word legion comes from the word ligare, which means to bind, tie, or connect, like a ligature, right? Something you tie with, a ligament, something that connects bones and tissue and all that. So the ligare means to bind or tie. Re means to do again. Religion is supposed to be a system of spiritual exercises and information that reconnect you to the source from which you come. Something happened when you got connected, but really it's an internal system of cultivation to help you be aware of that internal divinity, harmonizing your energies with the universal energy. Everything in creation is energy, and what directs creation is consciousness, man. So when they had them hadron colliders, right? So they'll shoot these antiprotons toward each other, some subatomic particles, and when they hit, they become energy, right? And then they recoagulate all the way back up to what we recognize as matter. But this is the thing though, right? What's up under energy? Consciousness is up under energy. You can simply just determine it like this. Consciousness is the thing that activates or moves your body to respond. It's the fuel. It's the energy source. I'm going to give you an example. I want you to imagine, right? The most beautiful woman in the world you could think of, body type that's naked, right? That conscious image, will create an energy reaction that creates arousal.
Right.
Think about the ugliest woman you, according to you, with the ugliest, ain't gonna do nothing. That conscious image is not gonna produce the same type of energy response, right? So consciousness and perception is what determines energy. So up under energy is consciousness. Consciousness directs energy. It taps into it and utilizes it, right? So when these hadron colliders clashed, and then the lowest thing that they got to was energy, what directs the energy? It's consciousness, right? And we all connected to that one universal consciousness. We individuated forms of that consciousness, man.
So what is consciousness line up with knowledge?
Consciousness and knowledge are connected, but they're not the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
You need knowledge to become conscious. But just because you got knowledge don't mean you're conscious.
Okay.
Right? Consciousness is transcending knowledge. Knowledge could be labeling people's stuff. Consciousness transcends labels that are man-made. Right? And so it's a difference. You need knowledge to become conscious, but just because you have knowledge don't mean you're conscious. Because it's a bunch of brothers, man, who got a bunch of information who could break it all down. Yeah. But when you examine them according to the information that they have, right, it's not. And this is not to judge nobody, because everybody falls short. Yeah. And I fall hella short.
Hey,
however,
where we at?
And as a man, what that makes me recognize is, okay, listen, my conscience is lacking in here, not my conscience, not my feeling bad because I done something, but my conscience, my level of awareness and my level of just like awareness. And so that conscious, man, I recognize, man, when I'm falling short of doing what it is I know is the right thing. So I have to ask myself, am I just conscious or am I informed? So it's a difference, man.
Yeah, because knowledge is how it gets there, right?
That's step one. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding.
It's a vehicle.
Yeah. And then it's the first step. But everything is the foundation. But that foundation has things that grow from that, right? And so knowledge, and then with the knowledge, which comes from the gathering all of the information that you can get as a result of your studies and your experience, being able to apply it and moving. And then what happens is it moves out of the realm of just a bunch of data in your mind. And when you apply it and you learn what works and what does not work, you have learned something that you can apply in these situations. So it's not data. Now it's a practical tool of application that you done before and you know work. That's wisdom. That's wisdom. That's wisdom you acquired from an experience that you applied knowledge and learned the solution. That's wisdom, right? And so that wisdom, right, allows you the understanding to know the power and the purpose of knowledge.
That's what you got from applying that knowledge.
Ain't no doubt that understand knowledge, wisdom, understanding, bro. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I love that culture of freedom. We need that culture of freedom, man.
That's what understanding God does for you,
and
though.
Then listen, when we talk about spirituality is not religion, it's a culture. The term culture, right, when you look it up, it comes, a lot of people associate it with cult, but it's in the word cultigen, acculturate, cultivation, right? And so what it is when you think about the word cult, people associate it with like this group of crazy psychopathic religious people, but the term cult in and of itself, man, like the word cultivation, is the root of the same as the word culture. These are agencies and things that are designed to develop and to mature.
Like if you have surgery on your leg, they'll do a culture, like your.
They doing tests on it.
They call it a culture, though. A culture,
and so
it's muscle culture.
And no doubt. So what they doing is they're using that to probably like determine what the illness is. But when you talk about like a culture as far as a lifestyle for a group of people, man, our people, before we started embracing the spiritual systems of other people, bro, it was a lifestyle. And that's the culture. It was a lifestyle, man.
It was just natural.
Yeah, it wasn't no, hey, listen, man, we quantified and qualified the universal processes that we see right now, man. How the sun operates in tandem with the moon and the earth, and how certain constellations, man, once they reach this position in the heaven, what it meant. We observed nature, brother, wrote it all down, man, made it an applicable thing, right, and then handed it off to the world and called it science. Our ancestors quantified that stuff, man. Listen to me, bro. everybody has benefited, man, from the scientific accomplishments. A lot of people, even get the Muslims, man, a lot of credit for advancing the scientific world, and they did do good. However, when they conquered Egypt, they also were the beneficiaries, man, of a lot of knowledge that was already there. Yeah, they absorbed some stuff that was already there. They ain't develop it. They stumbled up on it, man, and they took somebody else's stuff, right, and started getting credit for it because they took some stuff somebody else had that they didn't share with the rest of the world, and they spread it. So it was associated with them, right? But when you look at some of the things that they advanced, human beings don't go from the state of what they call jahiliyyah, in ignorance that they were in, to the level of technological advancement in that short period of time. That's why within 100 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad, they had a lot of that area sold up, and Kemet, right, which at one time and at a lot of times was the light of the world for knowledge, right? Man, the Greeks, they'll tell you, man, all of our students, man, everything we learn from there. Their whole pantheon of gods was stolen from the African gods out of Kemet. But our people, man, and our history and our culture, bro, is important because that was our lifestyle, man. They didn't all that other stuff, man. We missed it, man, and they took it away from us, brother. And we don't and not only did they take it away from us, the way we practice religion now, man, we hate our own stuff,
Man, I remember my mom used to be on me about voodoo and all that shit. Like, when I was younger, like I saw the devil and all this shit. Till I actually got older and really looked into it myself. Like, man, that was ancestor worship. You know what I'm saying? How could that be of the devil? And all this other shit is of the devil. This is make-believe shit. This is witchcraft, for real, what you talking about. Shit, if we talking about witchcraft on that level, where you talking about on the satanic level and all the shit y'all trying to talk about, y'all real hypocrites, for real. You know what I'm saying? Shit, but then they turn around and talk about Jesus turned water to wine and all this other shit. Like, that's sorcery. Fuck, if we talking about it, man, come on. You know? Yeah, man.
It's a matter of, I think at times, man, religion has been, when you look back, I don't know, let me hold on for a minute. Let me reevaluate that in my mind. Elements of the, I want to say part of it, the religions that have been imposed upon us have been beneficial. But when I look back and I just think about it, because I studied that history on a lot of the things, man, that have been imposed upon us, right? We always talk about the transatlantic slave trade, but we never talk about the sub-Saharan slave trade where these Arabs and slaves. We know, and so when I look back at how a lot of these belief systems have made their way into our
talk about that when we in college, though.
Yeah, that sub-Saharan slave trade was a bad boy. But because, I mean, man, bro, it's something, man. It's something, man. It's so much stuff that we don't know. And as a result of that, we align ourselves with people, man, who at various intervals throughout history, man, have sought to bring about our destruction. And when you look, they still don't act in the form of allies, man, that want to help us, man. That's why, brother, we got to just do our stuff for ourselves, man. There's no way we extract $1 trillion out of the American economy every year, and we still struggling. We make more than the gross national product of some countries, man. And we still, we still poor.
That's cause motherfuckers don't understand them terms what you just said. You feel me? If you was to split that to some motherfuckers who really could grasp a hold of that concept, man. But shit, nah, man, cause motherfuckers like where the fuck they at, man. That's, you know, motherfuckers like the way our culture is now. Like, motherfuckers like what we done become. And I
think this is what it is. I think that the desire to be validated and recognized is such a natural human need. And because our culture is a degenerate one that says we recognize you for all the bad that you do, we do the bad. Just because we won't recognize, he the man, I'm scared of him. Boom. So there are no healthy forms of recognition. We discourage and tell you smart. You want to be like a white boy. You sound like them white people. We discourage the things, man, that could develop the best in us, right? And encourage the things that could bring out the worst in a man. A dude to do a life sentence, man, right? In a stupid act of violence, when he get in that penitentiary, though, he wish he could take it back, all for the purpose of clout chasing, because a person want to feel significant and validated and want their name in somebody's mouth, man. People that threw their lives away for that stuff. It go back to identity, man. All go back to identity, brother. It all go back to identity. We don't know who we are, man. And then when they listen, it's like they done poured the water out, right? The real original water, and then put some tainted stuff in there and say this is what it's supposed to be. And that's us, man.
Yeah.
You know, the original gone. That's why, like, when I talk about that Sankofa bird, it means to go back and get it, right? We have to go back and get those things, man. The natural question is this, brother. When you look at our true history prior to slavery, right? Look at our true history and how we impacted the world through our history. When you look at our true history, and then you look at what we are now, we identify slavery as the process that took us from who we were and made us what we are now. So the logical question is, in the process of slavery, what did they do to us? Right? What did they do to us? So once we start realizing what they did, what they took away, we can undo it by putting it back. So we have to go back, and what that is we're gonna have to go back and get our identity before they took it, our culture before they took it, our spiritual systems before they took it, our ingenuity before they took it. And so we got to go back and get it, because we're not gonna be able to be who we are and what we need to be, man, as long as other people's ideologies flood our mind and we worship them. It's not gonna work. Definitely not gonna work. So
not at all.
Not at all, brother.
That's
Look, let's just ask ourselves right now. It's 2023. Has it worked thus far?
Right.
I bet you don't nobody pray harder than we do.
Man, don't nobody do religion like us.
Man, listen, we the hardest in the game, brother, when it comes to religion. But in a lot of ways, it seems like we the most let down, though.
Of course. Hey, man, that's why I left Christianity, because I said, man, fuck this shit. God got a favorite race, and it ain't us.
And then people will tell you, man, you just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I often think back, like, to how so many people was, like, literally, man, just think about this. I think it was 280-some years of chattel, physical slavery. Hey, man, just think about a person, right, born a slave in 1734. Bruh, that means they was born a slave, grew up a slave, and died a slave.
Never knew nothing.
Never, dude, could you imagine that, man?
Yeah, man.
We talking about millions of people, brother, grew up born in slavery, grew up in slavery, died in slavery. That's unbelievable, man. And so when we think about that type of stuff, man, for us as a people, brother, a lot of times we like to think we done arrived because we free.
No, we ain't. No, we ain't.
Definitely not, bro.
Shit, yeah, nah. We far from that.
So the plan for the future of this live, right? But it's a segue into the announcement of the podcast. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, man, we gonna bring some straight heat out here in these streets, brother. And it's gonna be educational. And the idea is to start to grow our way up out of some of these handicapping concepts that we've been holding on for generations, that as they continue to sit inside of our souls, man, continue to destroy us.
Things that have been acceptable.
Yeah, things that we have accepted that have been strategically placed in us that lead to our demise. How do we do a biopsy, a culture, a surgical procedure on the toxic ideologies that sit in our soul? And that's what we want to do, man. That's the purpose of everything. So even in our human flaws and our human frailties, man, we still have to push forward. I'm going to tell you something else I don't like, man. Hey, man, our people always think that our leaders got to be perfect, man. Let me be clear. Ain't no human being on this earth free without their own issues. Not a human being. However, does that mean that they are not capable of producing good information and leading and have solutions in some areas? Yeah. Hey, listen, it ain't a human being who has ever led anything, anywhere from technology to business, to communities, to politics. Everybody, man, even the greatest leaders that all of us, even as black people, man, Mansa Musa, Taharka, Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, whoever we name, man, all of these people, man, Nelson Mandela, Jomo Kenyatta, whoever we name, man, everybody has had flaws, man. Everybody, Elijah Muhammad, everybody had flaws, man. However, man, these brothers work and how it has impacted our community, man. Man, but Malcolm, listen, man, I tell people all the time, you know, a lot of Orthodox Muslims, bro, you know, a lot of them don't like Elijah Muhammad, right? And so, you know, brothers will say things, and you know what I used to ask brothers? I was like, bro, I understand why you say that because of your belief, but this is my thing. Let me check your resume out compared to his. You ain't done not a stitch of work. To this very day, you are a recipient of the benefits of what it is that Elijah Muhammad brought, because Elijah Muhammad sent his son, Wardim Muhammad, to Al-Azhar, Cairo, to be schooled in Orthodox Islam, and then on February the 25th, 1975, gave successorship to his son, not Louis Farrakhan. And then the next day, at the Savior's Day, 1975, he changed the Nation of Islam to the World Community of Al-Islam in the West, man. And so that became the American Muslim mission, which a lot of black Muslims in this country have been a part of, Orthodox Muslims. So it was Elijah Muhammad who was wise enough to know, right, that he needed to send his son so that he could bring what he felt was the next evolutionary stage to our people, man. And people don't respect his wisdom for that. They'll try to talk against him, right, and say some slick stuff, but if you match their resume against his, it ain't nothing there. It ain't no competition. So that's what we planning on doing. What time is it? It's almost time to go.
Yes, it is. 11:07.
Yeah, that was a pretty good. I like that, man.
Cool. Hey, we cook. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Holler at y'all again, man.
Peace.
You know what I'm saying? Peace. Yeah.
Hey, listen, just let it play.